How's it going, everybody? If you are a general contractor or run a construction business here in Michigan, then this video is for you. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the basics around the commercial auto insurance for your business to make sure that you actually have the right coverages in place that your business might need. And then at the same time, go over some of the nuances specific to general contractors in relation to this policy. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Brian. I'm an independent insurance agent based here in the state of Michigan, Metro Detroit specifically, and I work with businesses on their commercial insurance programs as well as helping families and individuals with their personal insurance, their home, their auto insurance as well. My goal with this channel is to pass on a little bit of educational information to you so that you can make more informed decisions around your insurance and then overall help answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it. And before we get too far into the video, I do want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. And if you find this video helpful, useful, anything like that, please feel free to like, share, pass it along with anyone else as well. So to start, if you are a general contractor and you or your team are driving vehicles for work, whether that's pickup trucks, vans, dump trucks, or even just standard vehicles, you will need to make sure that you have a commercial auto policy in place and not a personal one. Commercial auto policies are different than personal policies, and that is because personal auto policies will almost always exclude business use. So if you do have a personal policy in place and you get into an accident while you are using your vehicle for work purposes, there is a chance that that personal auto insurance carrier could deny the claim. So this is why making sure that you have a commercial auto policy in place is so important. Now, let's look at some of the standard coverages that nearly every general contractor will be looking at when it comes to their commercial auto policy. And first is going to be your liability coverage. And this protects your business if one of your vehicles does cause damage or injury to somebody else or a third party. For nearly every business, we almost always will recommend starting at least $1 million for this coverage. And a lot of times, if you do have contracts in place, whether they're with developers or project owners, a lot of times this will be the coverage limit amount that they require in those contracts. And then, since we are here in Michigan, even though this is a commercial auto policy, you still will need to make a PIP coverage selection. And just like with a personal policy, we always recommend going with the unlimited option. Because again, the PIP coverage on your auto insurance, not your health insurance, is what will provide medical coverage if you or any of your passengers are ever injured in an auto accident. So again, very important to make sure that this is unlimited. Next, you will most likely be looking into your physical damage coverages on the vehicle, and this will be your comprehensive and collision coverages. Collision is what it sounds like. If you are involved in an accident with another vehicle, or maybe you hit a tree, this part of the policy is what would help repair or replace your vehicle. And then comprehensive covers things like theft, fire, vandalism, or any weather damage. And if you are financing or leasing a vehicle, these coverages are almost always going to be required by the financial institution. But even if there is no financing or lease, these coverages are definitely worth considering and having in place. And then another key coverage that is definitely worth considering is going to be hired and non-owned auto coverage. This provides liability coverage to your business for any vehicles that you do not own. So this would be any rented vehicles or any personally owned vehicles that might be used by you or any of your employees for an occasional work errand. A lot of businesses can overlook this particular coverage, but it is very important and sometimes, again, required in certain contracts. And also don't forget about uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. In Michigan, we still have a very high rate of uninsured drivers here, so it is very important to make sure that this coverage limit is matched to whatever your standard liability coverage limit is, which again, we typically recommend starting at least $1 million. Now, some nuances when it comes to this coverage for general contractors. First is to always try to make sure that all employees that are going to be driving vehicles are listed out on the commercial auto policy. And it's important to try to keep this list as up to date as possible. That is to make sure that any trailers that the business owns or is going to be regularly using and hauling for work are scheduled out and listed on the policy, because coverage will not automatically extend to these just because one of your vehicles is towing them. And then if your business does have any specialized equipment, such as with skid steers, excavators, or anything of that nature, these would need to be covered on what is called an inland marine policy. not a commercial auto policy. So if you do own anything like that, make sure they are covered on that type of policy. And then just general risk management and safety tips for your business, especially if you do have a fleet of several vehicles. First is that it is definitely worth it to have a formal risk management and safety protocol in place. This would be things like having a formal written out distracted driving policy. And then again, depending on the size of your fleet, it could be worth looking into certain telematics and GPS program systems. And there are actually insurance companies out there that do offer discounts for businesses that utilize these types of things. So if you don't already have these in place, these can definitely be worth looking into. Overall, with all of this, if you are a general contractor or run a construction business, having the right commercial auto insurance in place is an extremely important part of your commercial insurance program as a whole. So you do really want to make sure that you have the right coverage in place for your operation. So thank you for watching. And if you are looking for help with your commercial insurance, I would love the opportunity to work with you and see if our team can help. There are a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and they should all be in the description below. Please feel free to text, call, email, fill out a contact form, whatever is easiest. And if you have any other questions about insurance, please feel free to either reach out directly or leave them in the comments below. I would love to help answer those as well. So thank you again.